welcome to another episode/chapter of the Cleanup Crew. We are picking up this time a couple of days after the last job. You are on your way to drop the viadnine off at its little sanctuary. Neldo is slowly attempting to reconstitute themselves in the little bucket that you put them in and trying to figure out if they can find where their arm went. As they're not, well, actually, I don't know. They probably are a little bit more used to having appendages lopped off than most people. What have the two of you been up to? Well, Neldo is just in a bucket in their quarters.
I do have an idea, but I don't know if Eileen would have forced it to not happen.
Feel free to pitch the idea.
Okay, so my idea is that Malaya has actually kept the little... What did we call it?
Viadnine?
No, not the viadnine. The one before that.
Oh, the hedge hair.
Hedge hair, yes. That Malaya has actually kept the hedge hair. Since it chews through, like, metal and wood, she keeps it in a glass enclosure. And so she's been taking care of it while trying to keep its presence not known. Like, keep Eileen unaware of its presence.
Malaya, can you give me a roll plus charm?
Okay. Oof. Charm is not great. Okay, let's see. Okay. That's a 6. I have -1 charm.
If you've made any attempts to try and sort of tame and or slightly domesticate this creature, it hasn't worked. It's not actively hostile, it just doesn't trust you.
That's fair, because Malaya is definitely cursed.
Yeah, and you just get the feeling that it's just waiting for its moment to escape. So Eileen, roll plus sharp to see how long it takes you to figure out, if you actually figure out that Malaya did keep it.
Give me a minute, I'm still trying to find my sheet.
If you had rolled higher on that charm, you might have been able to start training it. To get to behave, but that was basically animal handling.
Come on, open.
Yeah.
Open.
May or may not be plotting to attempt to escape and then eat your face in your sleep.
I didn't attack it, Neldo did. So it should be attacking Neldo.
Yeah, but you've got it trapped, and you are, as far as it knows, you are between it and freedom.
It is a spacious enclosure. Kind of like a large fish tank.
Fish tank, or like a little reptile enclosure with little heat lamps?
Yes. Malaya's trying.
It does like the heat lamp, but you have to have the heat lamp on the other side of something, otherwise it will start eating the cords and potentially electrocute itself.
Yes. Yeah, I would say the heat lamp is like going from above where it can't actually reach it, but yeah, she checks the enclosure to make sure that the hedge hair can't suddenly eat glass.
What I picked before, because all of the sharp is +2.
It makes sense that the expert is very sharp and very smart.
Is a total of 8.
You realized maybe within a day after Malaya supposedly, delivered it to where it was supposed to be, that she didn't actually deliver it. Maybe you caught her attempting to sneak food to it. So the camera has zoomed back in time to after the dockside job and before the smuggler job. I just realized I'm naming these chapters like they name Leverage episodes. That's fine. Love that show. So Eileen, what do you do when you realize that Malaya still has the hedge hair on board?
Malaya?
Yes, Captain?
Let that eat any important systems.
Thinks for a minute to try to... So it's like,
if it does,
okay.
I will kill it.
Okay. I'm keeping it in a glass enclosure. That's been keeping it secure. But okay, I will do my best to keep it happy and in its enclosure.
Over the next couple of jobs, you're able to like get some more things to keep it secure. You're able to do some research to. It is possible to keep these creatures as pets. They don't make great pets unless you're able to get it to bond with you. Which so far,
Yeah.
I've gotten really used to moving around and not being able to feel your arm or parts of your hand. Hasn't done any actual damage, but you've gotten used to just like functioning
nips.
without.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm used to functioning with just partial feeling in your arm and learn some tricks to get the feeling back.
Could I try using tune in to try to attune my mind to it to see why, like if there's something I can do to make it feel less like I'm a threat?
Yeah, you could do. Yeah, you could roll tune in or just give me a general plus sharp, see if you can figure out ways to make it like you again, or make it like you. Period.
Yeah. Well, it's just tune in is my plus weird. It's higher, so it's like. So if I can do that, then.
Can I do something weird? I'm good at weird.
Yeah. Okay, that with plus weird is an 11.
After a rough start, you find a way to connect with it using your spooky powers, and definitely not cursed earrings. Obviously not cursed.
Yep.
And you're able to kind of figure out some of the things it likes, and you start put treats in its cage, and you make it a little bit more comfortable, and you find some music that it likes, so it looks a little less pissed off, but it's still not. You're getting there, but you haven't won it over yet.
Yeah, that's understandable. It'll be a long road, but Eileen hasn't said we're getting rid of it now, so that's okay.
It's no longer trying to scratch its way out of the glass. So you're checking on your little pet on the way to the viadnine sanctuary?
Yeah, I'm checking on it.
So you spend a little time with it, probably go to check on the viadnine as well, which is, I don't know if y'all let it out of the crate or not, but they're not particularly destructive, but it looks a little spooked. Also, you know it's not going to take you very long to get to the sanctuary after you kind of leave off the smuggler who survived.
Okay.
Eileen's piloting what I'm doing.
Okay.
Giving your contact at the sanctuary a heads up that you're on your way, or giving them an ETA.
Yeah.
Maybe you've been there before once, just like you were helping drop off some supplies or something, so you know where they usually keep the creatures, but when you give them the alert that you will be touching down within a couple of hours, you are told to meet them at a secondary site.
Is this kind of person that Eileen has contact with where they can ask for an elaboration, or where she needs to ask for an elaboration, or is this someone she implicitly trusts?
I don't know. Tell me.
Part of me that worked at a Lokes spay neuter for several years wants to say that this is someone who is trustworthy.
Also, this is someone working at an animal sanctuary. Typically either good people or someone who just kind of wants something out of the way where they don't have to deal with people.
I'm rerouting then to the location given.
So kind of how I picture some of these animal sanctuaries working is they have like a couple different spaces where they'll sometimes like try and keep the creatures sort of congregated so they can keep an eye on them. Unlike other places where we've had to land, it doesn't take long to get clearance to land, and they have people out there to greet you. And what is this person's name or contact?
Glenn.
So Glenn is there to meet you as you both disembark, taking the cage with you. Eldo is still sitting quietly in their bucket. They're getting better. They're getting a little bit more corporeal, but getting back into his shape is still proving challenging. To be fair, it's been maybe like 12 to 24 hours.
We may pop in and be like, do you want any food or water, Neldo? And then if they want it, we give it to them. And I'm just like, okay. Let us know if you need anything. Here's a comm next to the bucket.
Let's just put a little handheld radio that's patched into your comm system, because
Yeah.
they are not currently able to do their ear mouth thing, but they have figured out a handheld radio. Glenn's there, and they step forward to clasp your hand. Eileen, it's good to see you. You made the trip all right? How long has it been?
Too long, of course. Always.
Indeed, and I don't believe we've met before, pointing to Malaya.
Oh, no, we probably haven't. I'm Malaya. I'm with the captain. I'm part of her cleanup crew.
Pleasure to meet you, and I remember hearing something about the cleanup crew. Sounds like you got a nice operation. And who is this? As he crouches down to look at the viadnine, which is kind of like scooch back in the crate a little bit, and it's just peering up at him with its big eyes. He's like, "Well, come here, little one. How'd you get so far from home?"
We intercepted a couple of unsavory individuals, so we thought this little one could use better accommodations than they were able to provide.
Certainly, and I'm glad you ran into them. Our sanctuary's been able to crack down on some of the smuggling, but there are other planets, and there's only so much we can do. But I think we can get this one integrated into the pack very nicely. As he's like talking in sort of like doing the baby talk voice to get it to calm down. This is someone who works with these creatures for a living, and he gestures. Yeah, just follow me this way. We have the pack in the secondary enclosure, and we have a little side gate so we can give them some time to integrate and give this little one time to get used to its new environment before we do a proper introduction.
Good. Question. Why the new location? What's going on?
Well, he used to have them near, so there's a watering hole that was like part of a reservoir, or connected to a reservoir, and we kept them there, but it seems that something has gotten into the water, and we're starting to worry that it might be endangering the pack, so we moved them. We just moved them a couple of days ago. We're trying to figure out how to flush whatever this thing is out.
So it's a creature, not some sort of bacteria or anything else that would have affected the water?
Oh, it's definitely a creature. I've seen it moving around. Scared the shit out of me the first time I saw it.
Need any third-party assistance?
I mean, if you wouldn't mind, we have some stuff that could be of use. We're still not entirely sure what this thing is, and I mean, we have some spare funds if cover any bills as well as spreading the word.
No, this one's on a house. I owe you. This one's on a house.
Alright, fair enough, but just maybe leave some of your business cards so you can spread the word.
That's acceptable. Certainly acceptable.
Right. And we can also probably treat you to a nice meal, but come on, let's get this little one settled. It takes you over to, so you see It looks like there's like this massive, like very large fenced-in area. Like you can see where the fence goes off in one direction and then the other. You see a corner of it and where it spreads off, but you don't see the ends. It's this wide open space. It looks like there's a man-made body of water in it, and you see there are multiple viadnine just gathered around, loping around, playing with each other. And there's a smaller fenced-in area that is still a nice big area. And it has like the equivalent of a little of a couple like smaller pools in it. And that is where they release the one that you rescued. Glenn explains, we'll just give this little one some time to settle, and then we'll do some health checks, make sure everything's all right, and then looks like we don't have to wait too long for them to start getting to know each other. As you see, there's like a little group of 3 viadnine that have come up to the fence and are just like poking their little noses through. This is just an adorable, delightful little scene. Yours seems a little shy, but you can see as you start to walk by, it like flattened to the ground. But it's starting to like slowly army crawl wiggle its way towards the fence.
Oh.
Which, my dog does that sometimes when he's waiting for someone to pet him, and they're taking too long. But he's being good and laying down, so I'll just wiggle towards him. It's so cute. We might have some footage from our security cameras. They're not the best, but can give you some idea of whatever this thing is. Wanna check it out?
Sure. Any information you can give us is good information.
On, right this way. It takes you over, and you see there are other people milling about, and they nod and say hi. Friendly, but they're all friendly. Look, they're all kind of running on about their business. Glenn informs a couple of them that the new one has arrived and is getting settled, and so they go out to check on them. A lot of people say, as they pass by, say, thank you for bringing them home. Just thank you. Not many people would do that. You can get quite a bit of money from someone who has a lot of money, because like a lot of people, these are kind of like luxury pets almost. Except for they are incredibly social and they love being near water and wide open spaces. Hence why the sanctuary is on a planet that has a reservoir. Lots of water. When there's a monster in the water.
No thanks needed. Glenn's an old friend.
Still, we appreciate it. And Glenn leads you to an office area and sits down in front of a computer and starts pulling up, has to search through a couple of different folders to find the security footage, and kind of scrolls back to let you look at it. He said, this is around the time, we didn't catch it. It only showed up on cameras a couple of times, so I have marked when those were. They're all in this folder. I mean, I don't know what this is, but maybe you can figure something out. You see the camera is pointed at, so how I picture it is there's the large sort of shallower body of water where actually a large deeper body of water that the viadnine kind of live around and like to go swimming in, and then a sort of shallower blocked off part that could be used to spread water back and forth potentially. So it's like there's 2 portions and you're able to open the connection between the 2. This was some kind of facility at some point a long time ago, but it's not being used for whatever that is now. And roll to investigate a mystery as you peruse the footage.
Google.
As Google decided that Eileen is oblivious.
Yeah, Google gave me a 3, which even with my plus sharp is a 5.
I will
I got a
say,
9.
luck is a thing. You do have luck points, and I don't think any of them have been used.
Probably not. But like, do I have a move? Actually, do I have a move that would help with this? Actually.
Potentially. Well, you figure that out. Malaya, with a 9, you get 1, so what is your question?
What kind of monster is it?
As you're watching the videos, you don't see a lot of it, but you're able to see, like, something causing ripples through the water, something that's spooking some of the viadnine, sending them scattering away. And as you just watch the way this thing moves, and you see, like, pieces, like, bits of it poking up above the water, it's some kind of serpent.
To me, it looks like some sort of serpent. Is that native to this planet? From a water serpent?
I mean, not that I'm aware of, but that doesn't mean it's not possible. There are some places outside of the reserve that have their own wildlife, so I suppose there could have been something that got in through the water, maybe the groundwater here, or it's not outside of the realm of possibility, that's for sure. So, are you going to take the failure, or are you going to use luck to make it a success?
I'm gonna use luck.
I will say, if you want, you can still mark the experience, even though you're using luck, just because experience is nice. So with luck, that makes it a complete success. You can hold 2, and if you have a question you want to ask that's not on the list, that can be one of the 2.
What can it do?
As you're scrolling through the videos, you see that this thing moves very quickly through the water, but it doesn't seem to move out of the water. Probably because, like, it's safer there, it can move faster there, it has the advantage in the water. There's a moment when you see, like, there's just this duck floating in the water. And you have to, like, kind of zoom in and slow it down, but you see it, like, leaping up, grabbing it. Seems to have really good jaw strength, and just pulling it under. But as you watch, it doesn't get any of the viadnine. It does spook some of them, it doesn't catch any of them.
I want to, with sort of intentionally related to what was it going to do, was its target viadnine?
I'll say, between watching it and with what you know about it, it doesn't feel like viadnine are its usual prey. Because it does not seem adept at all at actually catching them. Even the ones that aren't paying attention when it tries to move. So it doesn't feel like viadnine are its usual prey. Not sure how it ended up here, but that does kind of lend to the fact that it might not be from here. But it seems to be stuck in this body of water. You can also ask Glenn questions. That does not count as investigating a mystery per se, but...
Glenn, when exactly did this creature show up?
We just started noticing something within, like, the past month or so. It didn't really become a problem until about 3 weeks ago, and that's... We moved to this area about 2 weeks ago. It took a while to get all the viadnine relocated and settled in here, but operations like this, we always have secondary and tertiary sites just in case something happens. So we weren't quite expecting this.
No kidding. Did anything unusual happen around the time this thing started appearing? Unexpected guests, a new resident, your little colony of viadnine, a new employee, perhaps?
Well, nothing around when this thing first showed up, but we did have an unexpected guest around 4 months ago. There was someone who was interested in donating to our organization, but they wanted a tour of the site first. So, as part of that tour, this used to be some kind of water treatment plant at some point. I mean, all of that's shut down and all of the parts of the treatment have been removed, but some of the physical locations are there. So, he went to go check those out, which I thought was odd, but making sure things are safe. I wasn't here when he was here. We were off doing checking something out for potential backup sites if needed, and but from what I heard, he was kind of odd.
This person escorted around the facility or given free reign?
What I heard, he was escorted around. We typically have at least one escort with people, but I believe this person, he was specifically escorted by someone higher up in the organization. You would know that this sanctuary has connections to other different sanctuaries. Like there's a sort of overarching nonprofit organization that is sort of like a collaborative effort between the various different endangered creature sanctuaries and other operations like that.
So no chance of being able to talk to them directly. Got it.
Yeah, I mean, I could get you in contact with someone who might be able to put you in touch with whoever led them around.
If you want this resolved quickly, that feels like a waste of time. You have an itinerary of where exactly they went, and did anywhere they go flow to this? I don't want to accuse your donors of anything, obviously. That's not what I'm trying to do, but this doesn't seem like the type of creature native to the area, especially if it showed up that recently.
You're thinking maybe a donor unwittingly sort of transplanted something without realizing, or?
Yeah, on accident, that got left in one of the tributaries that runs to this particular watering hole. And that's where this thing came from, maybe.
It is possible, especially depending on if he was visiting other locations. Hang on, just let me check, and he will slide over to a different computer and start pulling something up. After a couple minutes, just doesn't look like we had any details down, but the only places I can think of that he would have been to or been led around would be, I can't say for sure, but I did hear talk about how he was visiting sort of like one of the water treatment rooms that was near the plant. That's the main place I can think of that he may have been that would be near enough to this body of water for whatever, if he accidentally transferred anything, which would be tricky to do, but it would have to have been something close. So, I mean, that's my bet.
Mm-hmm.
Pulls up a map and points to where it is, and it's very close. And he explains it's not in use anymore, but I mean, sometimes we would use it for storage if you were working on something, or if the weather got bad and someone was stuck out there, they'd kind of camp out there for the night.
Get it.
Maya, have you been doing anything, or are you just listening to this conversation?
I would say Malai would be looking at the footage, maybe seeing if there's a certain part of the reservoir that it prefers. I don't really have any moves I can do, because I'm assuming I can't really, tune in this far away. I would have to be close to the reservoir to do that.
You're a bit away from the reservoir. I'm probably going to need to hitch a ride there, but place like this, they're going to have some sort of buggies or carts or vehicles that you can use. But just roll plus sharp as you're kind of watching where it moves around, because it is an investigative mystery question, but I'll let you just use a sharp roll.
Ooh, that's a 6.
You watch it and you see it going in this direction, and it appears to go off somewhere that when you look on the map, maybe like an auxiliary water tank.
Captain, I'm looking at this again. I'm looking at this footage, and it looks like it goes back to this auxiliary tank.
How close is that to the storage building thing that Glenn was telling me about?
It might be like a mix of like treatment and monitoring. It's on the opposite side of the reservoir.
Oh.
For
Double check her math, maybe?
do you go to sort of watch as she's pointing to where she sees it swimming around, and you want to roll plus sharp to see what you pick out?
I would, yes.
Yeah, it could be that she's misunderstanding which direction it is.
We'll see.
11.
Awesome.
So as you're watching, you do see that it appears to briefly go in the direction of where the auxiliary water tank is. A little while later, you just barely catch sign of it moving elsewhere. You see it going into the water treatment area.
That was a good catch, Malaya, but look here. You see it coming back out and going across to the water treatment plant?
Do you think we'd be able to keep it at the water treatment plant?
I don't know. Which brings me to another question, Glenn. How exactly would you like us to deal with this creature?
I mean, I prefer try and not kill it if you don't have to, especially not in the water. We don't want any sort of contaminants getting loose into the water. There's no way to know how to deal with that. But
Right.
also, just sometimes if you have to do something, and there's only so much you can do about depending on the situation you're in.
Yeah.
If you can catch it and we can return it back to where it's supposed to be, that would be preferable. But also, if doing so would end up with you dead, just do what you gotta do, and
I feel I've survived there.
if it leaks something into the water, I think there might be a way to sort of shut off the treatment plant from the rest of the reservoir.
Good news is it doesn't seem to be going after the viadnine. I don't think I've ever seen something like this before, so I'm still not sure what it is. Other bad news is that trying it alive would be difficult, as it seems to be a war-born creature exclusively. Based on this footage, of course.
I mean, we might have some tools that you can try and use. I mean, we don't exactly have monster hunting stuff, but we got things that we can use if, like, in case of something falling into the water and other sort of safety items that might be helpful. You're welcome to them. There might be some stuff over there as well.
Do you happen to have a blueprint of the water treatment plant? That may help see if there's any, tanks so we could somehow get it into.
I'd like to roll preparedness.
Go for it. And I will say, he has pulled up a map of sorts that
Okay.
but it may not be as detailed as a blueprint.
9. I have it, but it's not here. It takes some time to get it. If this is all right with you, I would like to interpret that as one of the things Glenn showed us will work. We would have to retrieve it.
Yeah. No, what is the thing that you are going to be retrieving? That
You know those, long poles with a loop at the end that you Just to catch snakes right behind their heads.
Yeah.
It's like one of those, but big.
Yeah. It would make sense that they would have those just in case, like, if someone fell into the water, one of the viadnines got out a little bit too far, they could just kind of loop it around and help them get out. It'd also be useful in a water treatment plant if someone got a little too close and then slipped, but probably other things there. But yeah, there is one of those loops, and he's like, we do have those, but, hey, Jerry, you know where the loops are? Jerry was walking by, just pauses. I think we left them at the site that we were scouting. Damn it, Jerry. Told you to pack them in the truck. The Cleanup Crew is an in-universe comic book series favored by Talamir Demarais aboard the Opal Star. It follows a group of monster hunters who market their services as sci-fi pest control, working planet-side to dock-side to ship-side, whatever you need, wherever you need it. A Monster of the Week mini-campaign and an Aboard the Opal Star side story, featuring Shan playing Neldo, Alexis playing Malaya, and Casey playing Aileen. I hope you've enjoyed this because we will be seeing more of the Cleanup Crew in the future. And who knows what adventures they'll find.